All right. Good evening, guys. How you doing?
All right, all right. How you
Doing
doing?
good.
Good. Good to see you. Good to see you. Second here. All right. So I'm gonna get my call sign and we'll go in. Okay.
Okay.
So this is Marcane Allen, one half of the Fight for Your Life radio show. My co-host River Brown is out handling some other documentary business, but tonight on a special interview we have Terrance and Renee Felker. And we will be discussing a lot of interesting things regarding relationships and marriage. And we will learn about how they came to put together their book for their beautiful class, which I am a part of with my fiance, Expressway to Us. It is very impactful. I recommend everyone grab it off Amazon. You can learn a lot, and it definitely will help you come up with strategies for your relationship. So thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you for coming on.
No problem. No problem.
Yes, thanks for inviting us.
Yeah. You guys can hear me okay and everything?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. All right. So I'm gonna give a little background here that I have here from your book, which is you guys been married for 25 years now, and you guys have
Well,
two sons, Christian and Cameron.
hmm
Them
it
years,
would
them
actually be
years are more
29
though
years.
now, right?
Huh?
29, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. You also are members, or former members, but always members of Apostolic Church of God. And you guys are the leaders or the founders. Am I correct? If I'm correct, of Covenant Partners Marriage Ministry.
One of the leaders.
Yeah, we were
Okay,
just
okay,
facilitated, yeah.
okay. So let's get into some questions. So, what made you guys want to open up your life and your marriage to the world, so to speak?
Well, um, I just I just thought that at that point we had gained so much information as it relates to marriage. And
Hmm.
we were talking to different couples and helping them and mentoring them. And I was like, we need to put this in book form. We need to try to share this in a greater way. And so that's really how we got started.
Well, actually, we started with the CP, as you see, CP Ministry, Covenant Partners Ministry at the church. Right now under Yolanda Williams.
Yeah, it used
She,
to,
well,
well,
yeah, she
uh,
still kind of handle everything. But they grabbed us when we first early in our marriage. We were about,
first got married.
yeah, like 2, 3 years
We was
in.
23. No, we was just
We were
married.
just married. Yeah, they grabbed
23.
us like boom, we want y'all to be part of this. We was like, okay. So we were the youngest group when
Wow.
doing, we were the youngest couple that was part of Covenant Partners at that time. Because we, like I said, she was 24, I think I was 23. So yeah, it was like a year in. And we've been with them ever since. Then as time went on, that's when we started, they started asking us to help with the pre-marriage classes. And they started breaking it out. So we weren't the only couple, but it was other couples that was doing pre-marriage. So we were just one of them and we just kept going from there.
That's beautiful, and it brought another question to mind, which is since you guys have been in so young, when it comes to the sanctity of marriage, has much changed other than just the elements of the world and what's going on in the world? I mean, technology, of course, has changed, and
Mhm.
but has it changed a lot, or is it still we should follow? Of course we follow God, but
Mhm.
is when it comes to the people that you watch grown through it, what's like a dramatic change other than technology?
Um,
Social media.
like I
Yeah.
said,
Social media is such a
Hmm.
beast.
mhm.
Hmm.
So many couples are in trouble because of social media, and it's a monster.
Mhm.
And so if you don't learn how to handle it and talk through it together and come up with a plan on how you can deal with it, you can hit some rocky roads.
But our main thing is about communication. So
Mhm.
everything is through communication. And if the communication is thrown off, uh, the marriage could be thrown off because it's two people coming together and you got to understand each other. And so, when we started young, we were going gun ho about it. But now through experience as well, through some experiences growing up together, we learn some things and we are able to share some things to know that,
Mhm.
yeah, God is real and the enemy is real. This love thing is real and it takes a work to do it.
Takes
Yeah.
work.
Yeah. Is that um and I mean you guys I'm a student in your class, so you guys know that I've been married before, but that 10-year or 5-year change is true, right? Because of
Oh
course you
yeah.
guys
Oh yeah,
Oh, heck.
10 year was our year.
No, I think it was
okay.
even.
No,
Was it
10. It
10?
was 10 years. Year 10 was our roughest year.
Okay.
But we was about to split it up. Year 10
Yeah.
was the rockiest year
I think that
of
was
our
year
life.
11. I think it was
No, it was
11.
year 10. It was year
But
10.
it was around there, yeah. And yeah,
Yeah.
it was rough. And like as I shared with the class, and being transparent, uh, it was something that kind of just snuck up,
Hmm.
do the right thing, and some things just kind of got out of hand, with
Yeah.
the opposite sex. Uh, of course, I didn't step out, I didn't do that,
Yeah.
but some things
She was on your way.
mentally things were going that way. So
Mm.
you gotta always stay on your toes because things can come out the blue.
And we're a
Yeah.
couple that's transparent.
Yeah.
So we share because we hope that it will help somebody else.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I don't believe in keeping secrets and being quiet and don't tell nobody. I don't subscribe to that. I believe in share and share
Hmm.
some more because that's how we overcome through the
Hmm.
word of our testimony. So
Yeah. And I that's one thing I was telling Tiff that I appreciate you guys' transparency because, when I got divorced, I felt this sense of like failure,
mhm,
and it was just like, and a lot of people will say, well, why'd you stay so long, going through so much? I wanted to make sure when I left, I did everything humanly possible to try to heal this thing. We read books together. We tried to journalize together. When we couldn't verbally talk, we would write down stuff and pass a notebook back and forth. It's like tried everything, and
mhm,
it tore me apart. It tore me apart, and just little things, and I might have mentioned it in class, but like when I went to the store the first time by myself, I bought groceries for the whole house. And I
mhm,
had like $250 worth of stuff on the conveyor belt. And it was like the eighth bag in, and I'm just standing there. And the cashier she said, are you okay? And I said, I'm sorry. I just realized I don't need all this stuff.
Hmm.
And she said, it's okay. And I said, no, let me help him put it back. She was like, no, no, no. It's okay. She's like, I'm going to pray for you. She's like,
mhm,
because she's like, I've seen you in here before, and she's like, and I see what's different. And she's like, you don't have to tell me anything, but she said, I can see your difference. I'm gonna pray for you. And so when it took a lot of healing and a lot of praying,
yeah,
and I think what I longed for was God in that relationship.
mhm,
We grew up in church, and because things had happened, this was her family's church. So because things had happened that she knew behind closed doors, her thing was, I'm done with that. I don't never want to do anything with that. Her mom was an evangelist. I don't want to have anything to do with her,
mhm,
and it's like it was one day at like 38 or 39. I woke up and it was just like, can't keep living like this. Can't keep living like this. And then
yeah,
came to stand for the kids, my son,
mhm,
and then came for, you know, can't just walk away. You don't walk away from something, you know, I said I do. I didn't say I do to say I don't. So let me work at it. Let me do this. Let me do that. And it just got worse. It got worse.
Yeah.
And I contemplated, you know, stepping outside, and it's like, but it just wasn't me to do. It's not me to do. I was like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna keep working. I'm gonna keep doing what I got to do. But I was like, I'm one of them people that if you tell me I'm doing something wrong or something I need to address, I'm gonna work at it. I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna work at it. And it wasn't happening on the other side. So it's like you holding the mirror to me, but it's like, what about I can't do it by myself. And it was a horrible thing. And so coming across you guys and then meeting Tiff, it was just like, man, I'm all right, I'll give it another chance. You'll love another chance. And I purely love her for her, and she tells me the same thing. And it's not because we have a child together. It's not because, we knew each other for a long time. It's like we really said when we got together, like, we gonna let God ride this thing out because we older. I'm in my 40s, you in your 40s, and you didn't think it would happen. I said I wouldn't go back to this. So it's like, let God mix all this up together. And it's like, I mean, every time, every conversation, so many text messages like, well, I feel this way too. All right, I feel this way too. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep trying. So we agreed in the beginning that if marriage was in our future, we would do all the counseling, we would do everything to try to prepare. And I feel the most important thing to take care of is her heart. Is her heart.
Yes.
She's had the guy with the money. She's had the guy who mistreated her. She's had the kids' fathers, and it's like, I said, but nobody's ever taken care of your heart. I got to care about your heart, man, because that's what's been neglected. And so, I mean, when I tell you, I've been bragging and raving about this book, man, to all my guys. I mean, everything. I just refer back. Hey, man, look, check this out. So I'm taking this class, right? And and I've been telling everybody, man, Miss Renee don't play. Miss Renee, I'm telling you.
Long as you know, she don't play. She ain't gonna play. But yeah, again, I appreciate it. You thinking of us like that, and like you say, that's when we put it in there. It's coming from the heart, because we have to realize too, when people are trying to work things out, it does got to have both sides, and you can be doing everything right and trying your best to work it out. But if the other person ain't putting their part in, it takes two. And if the other person ain't putting their part in, it won't go together. It's like a battery. You have a battery. Yeah, it has a positive side, but it has a negative side. And you need both parts to work it. To make something work, you need both parts, the negative and the positive. So, one side of just straight positive is still not going to work. So sometimes you got to look at, and that's how you got to look at things in life too. You have your positive things, but then you'll have some negative things, but you learn from the negative things and how it can work together to build and help you mentally and spiritually. And that's why I use the example of a battery, because you need both parts.
And the book is short on purpose.
Yeah, it's short on purpose.
It's short on purpose because we don't want to just fill it up with all just words.
We
wanted to get straight to the point.
That's what I love.
Those strategies, and that will help you, and that can actually change your life and change it for the better. So we purposely made the book short because we was like, we want to get in and we want to get out.
And use scriptures and help and direct it.
And when I go back and I read the scriptures and I say, man, I've been reading the Bible my whole life. And it's like, that's how unattached my past relationships were, that it's like, none of this jumped out at me. And I love the fact that it's to the point. And this journey I'm embarking on is new. It's new. And God is washing it and washing me and washing her new, because she never expected to be a wife, and it's like, so a lot of it, she's even amazed. And she tells people like, I didn't realize I was supposed to be, like that. And
Wow.
oh my God, I didn't realize I was supposed to like love him like God, like God
Right.
loved
Yeah.
us. And, you know,
Yeah.
and I throughout everything I keep the lessons from my experiences, but I threw out a lot of stuff because I don't want to walk in acting like I know just because I've been married before. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to
Yeah.
look at Tiffany in a new light. I want to make sure I always look at her in a new light. And I, had told her that, sometimes certain things you say and do it remind me, but it's like I always have to know you're Tiffany. You're not
Right.
this person.
Right.
You
It's
That's a
know.
so
different person.
amazing to me talking to people
Mm.
and they'll be divorced. They'll come into class like they're the expert.
Mm-hmm.
I've been married before.
I've been married
I
since,
know how to do.
and
Just
I'm
like,
like, you were married before, but it didn't work.
Right.
Didn't work.
you know,
So there's some things that you're missing, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's so great that you know that it didn't work and that I still need some more tools because
Yes.
you sitting up here acting like you the expert. I mean, we've been married for 30 years. 29. I'm not the expert.
we're not
Right.
experts.
My
No.
parents have been married 50 plus years now. They not the expert
Mm-hmm.
because you're always changing. You're
Mhm.
always growing. There is always something to learn.
Always.
Mm-hmm.
We hear it all the time. Oh, I gotta know them more. I don't know them enough. I gotta learn them. I gotta learn them. And years go by. Years go by. I'm still learning them. I'm still learning. I ain't gonna get married yet because I still gotta learn. It's like you're gonna forever learn somebody.
You're gonna
So
be learning them
all
for the
that
rest of
time,
your
and that
life.
person been there for you or been there with you, it's like you could have been married.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna learn them
Mm-hmm.
for the rest of your
You
life.
don't learn people the rest of their life.
Mm-hmm.
Just want to
And I
change.
and I tell people all the time, like, when you get married, no book falls out of the sky, but you guys book did fall out, fall out the sky for us. But and and I got married twice before,
Mhm.
I got married at 18 trying to be, a good father. And, it's like I didn't know
Mhm.
any better, it's like, and we were just like, we're gonna try to be the best thing for these kids. And, it's like I
Mhm.
didn't know any better. Then when I got married the second time, it was like, I we started out wanting to be, where you guys are at with the years and, black family and this and that and right, and great cursing and this. It just didn't go that way. So I had all that I was carrying with of am I a failure? And, and it was a lot. It was a lot. And Tiffany often they tell people like when I would come teach classes, I would come in with my head down and I would barely say hi and bye. I do my job and then I give the best of me to my job and then I leave. And I was exiting that relationship at that time. And I was telling them, I was like, my heart was breaking. I was like, every time I'm going home, I'm arguing for no reason. And it's like, and it's just, I said I wasn't cared for at all. And then said it was hurtful. So it's like what I'm good at is my work and that's my gift. So when I'm
Mhm.
doing that, I said for years I wore to, hide,
Mhm.
and do my job, but hurting on the inside. And I just know that if I would have just had more tools in my toolbox, it would have helped me see that wasn't where I should have been in the first place,
Mhm.
and I don't know, I got caught up in a lot of doing things for the sake of historical things, trying to be there
Mhm.
for kids and,
Mhm.
and that's not it's not the way to do it.
There's so many people that stay for the kids.
Yeah, I'm doing this for the
Mm-hmm.
kids. I'm doing this for the
I'm
kids.
or even that I'm getting married because I had a kid. I
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if you get somebody pregnant. That is not a reason to get married.
Yeah.
Man,
That alone is not a reason.
and I guess from back in the day, I guess that's how the parents were. Oh, you guys want to get
Mm-hmm.
married? No, you got to marry. We just don't
Yeah.
have kids running around here. No baby daddies, no baby mamas. No, y'all get
Mm-hmm.
married. And it at the time when we were younger, I was thinking the same thing. Like, yeah, you want to do it right, but that's not so much doing it right. I mean, they did
Mhm.
step out and did the wrong thing. They had a baby out of wedlock, but getting married, who says that's making it right if the individuals are not ready to be with each other like that? So
Just
that,
Right.
right,
repent and
unto
keep
God,
on going.
repent unto
Yeah.
God. And the crazy thing is, so many blessings come once people had a baby.
Yes,
Then you
Mhm.
had a blessing, you had a blessing of a child, you have a blessing to see them grow, you have a blessing that sometimes how they bring people together. Sometimes
yes,
you had a blessing, so you see the blessing, you see yourself sometimes in them.
yes,
So even though you did something wrong, like the example I used, you may have went out of order, but when God is
Mhm.
in the picture and He's in the midst, that order still is going to equal out the same. If it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 5, whatever the number, if you add it all together with God in it, it's still going to equal the same. He's still going to cover it. So, yeah.
Mhm. Like that. I like that. How did you guys like start when it came to branching out to other parts of the world, like outside of the church? Like I saw that you were in another country. How did you
mhm.
guys get involved with that?
Well, my best friend moved to Tortola in her 20s.
Mm.
And she was like, I want to have you all come down here. I want you all to come and speak. And so we made our way down there, and then we got to speak. Our parents went, and we would just be able to talk and share. And it was just a wonderful, wonderful time, So I love talking about marriage. I I love it. So I just go wherever I can to speak on it.
And so even
Mhm.
here, we're in Nashville. So even here, we're part of their marriage ministry. And
Okay.
and it's funny how God just moved us up so fast. We only been here, this be 6 years for the family. And
Okay.
and we're part of their, their facilitators or, their main team. It's like that was only God.
It was nothing
Yeah.
to be
And
expected,
none of we
that's for
expected. They
sure.
just heard us speak one time and heard us do a class, and they was like, "Okay, yeah, we need y'all to do this." We didn't. And we, hey, that's just that's just crazy God. So, yeah,
Hey, but it's definitely a good class, man. I mean, I recommend you guys. I don't know how what's your goal or how far you want to go or how big you want to make it, but I see those little Zoom faces being like hundreds. You know.
All
hey,
right, speak it,
speak
speak
it,
it,
speak
speak
it, speak
it.
it.
So when it comes to marriage, communication, I mean, man, communication is so key. Um, but what would you say other than finances would be something that make people like divorce or split? I mean, we know the mains, the finances, adultery, we know the main things, but
Mhm.
even when things are, somewhat parallel and good, sometimes people still, you know,
Uh, those are responsibilities.
Roles and
mm,
responsibilities.
That's the thing because people can come together, but people are used to doing what they do. And
uh,
so, but being able to talk and say, come up with a plan. Everything is about coming up with a plan for me. I'm a
mhm.
planner, and so I got a plan.
Okay.
So it ain't working if you don't have a plan. But being able just to talk and share and do that with roles and responsibility to talk about who's gonna do what, who's gonna wash the dishes, who's taking out the garbage. I'm not taking out the garbage, Who's cutting the grass?
Mm.
Just simple day-to-day um things that have to be taken care of. That's something that we look over because we're just doing it day by day. But
Mhm.
when we start coming together, then it's something we need to talk about because it's something that we need to think about.
And I say it's off not to be in the spiritual realm, but I can't help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I say the 4 Fs, and I just added an F to it. It's really 3 Fs, but of course, finances, as we said, but then you have family, friends that get in your relationship, and then
Mm-hmm.
fear. Fear
Mm-hmm.
is a big thing because I don't want guys and people fear. I don't want to tell them everything because of fear of I'm gonna lose them if I tell them everything. Oh, I don't
Mm-hmm.
want them to know this part, so I'm gonna keep this secret. Because if they know this of my past, I'm gonna scare them off. And then so that fear, the fear of growing together, of losing yourself. Oh man, I used to be able to do this. Now I gotta talk to her. I gotta let her know stuff, or she gotta talk to me. That thinking of man, the independency. You feeling like I'm a fear of losing my independency. When you still got you're not
Mm-hmm.
losing yourself, but you're just gaining another because we're becoming. So that fear. And then last, the enemy knows your future. He want to do everything to mess up your future. So if he can do anything with those F's, the finances, the family, friends, fear, and your future, that's how he's going to get in there. Because it takes
Mm-hmm.
two people, that mental piece, that mental space, that heart space, you know, knowing how to think through things, using through communication, because we not all psychic. We can't.
Mm-hmm.
There are some things she can look, and I'm like, oh, I know what she's thinking, or I know what she's. But everything, no, we're
Mm-hmm.
not psychic. She's not psychic, you know. So those different things, I believe, play a part. But she said roles and responsibilities, greed. Some people, they mix things up, and we're going to talk about it in our finance class soon.
Yeah, you say
So greed and the thought of oldness, how
mm-hmm.
my father did, how my uncle did. They did this, or they had to pay for this, they had to do this, they had to pay this, and they had to do this, and they forget about time because you're so busy thinking of being that provider for the family that you forget to provide time to be with the family because you're so busy.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people can get wrapped up in that, especially for men. We can get wrapped up in that. Well, I got to be the provider. And God does want you to be a provider, but He doesn't just say a finance,
Right.
He wants you to be a provider, protector. Provide the time to be with the one He blessed you with, because this is your
Mm-hmm.
first ministry. So it's not all about finances and everything, but we'll get into that regarding class.
Yes, yes, yes.
And
Yeah.
family, like I say, family and friends, we got to be careful. We got to be careful
Mm-hmm.
because some people, they love each other so well, they be so happy together, and then they have kids. It's like, oh, precious kids. They are precious. The kids are precious. But then all the time goes to the kids, and then you start forgetting about the one you with.
You cannot
Yes.
be bitter about that one, the
Yeah,
one that you're spending the rest of your life with, because the kids are gonna go.
they'll go. They'll grow
Mm-hmm.
up and they'll
Yes.
go. They do their tricks to have you try to go against each other and stuff, all that. So that's why you got to separate yourself. This is love right here. This is first, mom and daddy.
That's first
Yeah.
ministry.
That's first ministry. Then we'll say, okay, let's go to these kids. But the actual first ministry is our relationship with God. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's the first thing. How does He want you to go through this thing? How does He want us to process this? How do He want us to handle this? So that's first. Then we talk about each other. How are we gonna do it? Then, okay, let's do this for them. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So
And I appreciate everything you just said. And like even after class Saturday, Tiff and I went out and we were looking over our next chapter, and we were talking about finances. And I told her, I was like, I have to apologize to you because I haven't been forthcoming about my finances because I work for myself.
mhm.
And even when we talked to my aunt and uncle that have been together 30 years, and I was telling my uncle, Tiff was on the phone, my aunt was on the phone, just that like, I work hard for myself, and it's like I said I had to break myself of that apprehension because I took care of everything in my past relationship. So my fear was there of trusting someone
Mhm.
and appreciating that hard work, and
Mhm.
and just to give you guys a little bit of like my business is just like, okay, if I train someone for $100 and I'm driving in Chicago, I pay for parking out of that $100, gas, if I
Mhm.
haven't gotten gas or whatever, if I'm at a half or whatever, I got to get gas. So I include all that. Come home, I pay everything. The rest goes to the house or to bills or whatever. And I was explaining to her that like, I've been in that position where a client will call you and tell you, my mom died. I got to go back to Ireland for a while to handle my family business, and $3,000 just gone.
Mhm.
And it's like, as the sole provider, I'm driving home trying to figure out, calculating and everything, and it's like in that past relationship, I couldn't trust, you know, everything, and I wasn't appreciated for everything I'm doing. So I told her, I was like, I apologize because I was fearful for a long time to put my ins and outs of my business and my ups and downs of my business into your hands because I didn't think you'd understand. And she said, she's like, I know, when I brought it up or I bring it up, she's like, you look like you're terrified. And I said, yeah. And I said, it's because like, I was like, you know, I said I was, and it's like, but
Mhm.
now that I know we're getting married, I feel differently, but I said it still takes times for me to, I'm still healing from that. And I said, and, I know it's gonna take time, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna share all this with you, but it's like I'm still gonna be kind of like, you know, and I said, and I
The
don't,
skeptical.
Mhm.
yeah, and it's like I don't want to be like that, and it's like, and I was even explaining to my uncle, it's like, you know, I I don't waste anything because I work hard, so
Mhm.
I don't waste food. I won't, I don't waste things, and I try to keep things together, and it's like, and I asked him, I said, do you think because I've seen, maybe my stepchildren waste food that I'm nervous? And he said, well, nephew, that could be it. He said,
Mhm.
we weren't raised like that, and he said, but he's like, I know you love them and you love, he's like, that has nothing to do with it. He's like, but that could be it. He said, he's like, I really don't know. But he said, but you also could just be scared because he's like, that's your business. He was like,
Yeah.
and he said, that's your livelihood. And he said, you coming out of a situation where you had to start over. And he's like, and you probably scared to relinquish everything because you
Mhm.
don't want to start, you feel like, man, if it goes this could put this time, it's like starting over again. And he was like, but he told me, he said, look, he said, it's been times in me and your auntie's relationship where she had to carry everything and I was making less. And then it's been times where I was carrying more and she was making less. And
Yeah.
he said, so Tiffany, you and Tiffany had that understanding. So he was like, you'd be fine. He said, you'll be fine. He said, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
And that fear thing, I was like, that that struck a nerve with me when you said that just now. And I was like, yeah, because I was very fearful, very
Yeah,
fearful.
and a lot of couples had that fear. And the thing is, it's normal because we're human,
Hmm.
but then we have, because that's that human part of us. So we got to
Yeah.
die flesh. And when you're hurt, or been hurt, it takes a little bit more time for that fear factor to go down. Because I was hurt,
Hmm.
trying to wash my back. I'm like, hey, this ain't happening no more. Da, da, da. So you kind of build up this wall. But we have to remember the Bible says, 2 Timothy, God did not give us the spirit of fear, but power,
Hmm.
love, and a sound mind.
And I would just say, and it sounds easier said than done,
Yeah. Mhm.
Hmm.
but let go.
Yeah.
2 words, let go. Let go. Because we can be holding on to our past, holding so tight to it.
Mhm.
And that is crippling us from really moving forward.
Yeah.
At some point, we've got to move forward. We've got to
Hmm.
say, enough is enough. You can't hold me back no more.
or this can't hold me back. It may not be a person, it may be a
Right.
mindset.
Right. Right.
Can't hold me back no more,
Yes.
letting go.
I'm moving forward. I mean, you need to play the song. Moving forward.
Mhm.
Let it
Amen
be
to
your theme for the month.
that. Amen to that. And my next question, I have some notes written here. It's not nothing too major, but so did you guys start like speaking at church? You guys started speaking at church first, right? To like groups at
Yeah.
church.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So did you guys have an issue with that? Did one of you have an issue with it? You both was just like, let's go, let's help. Did one person be like, I don't know if I want my business out in the street or
That what I was more of course, the scary or skeptical one. She
Okay,
was like,
okay.
no, we need to, let's go help, because like I said, that was her, this is her passion. And she was
Hmm.
like, no, Terrance, we need to help out. I was like, like when they first pulled us in the ministry, I'm like, why they pull us? Out of everybody, they pulled us. We the youngest, we don't know nothing. But God touched their hearts and put some in their hearts to think about us. And through his grace, he's been blessing us and using us and keeping us as a light, for people and for each other. So yeah, that's why
Yeah, Terrance was hesitant.
I was the hesitant one.
I was ready to go.
All right.
Okay. Now, did you guys like did one of you like go and then the other you did it by yourself for a while and or both of
No,
y'all
No,
did
no,
it
we've
together?
always
always
done it together.
because that
Okay.
it's like I don't know, everything we've done at church, we mostly did together. So we was on the
Mhm.
praise team together. We used to sing in the voices before the praise team. Voice and
Okay.
inspiration is choir at the church. We did that together, and then we started on a praise team together. Then what else? Then
Yeah,
the covenant partners. So we was doing that together. Then we even had began a ministry, the youth drama ministry. So we was helping with drama, bringing plays and video
Okay.
things, work
movies.
movies and stuff. We was trying to bring to the church with the youth. So and we were still together on that. So everything we was doing was mostly together. Now Renee is an evangelist, so
Okay.
that's one piece we didn't do together. She was already going
Okay.
forth because she was the chaplain of the choir back in the day, and from there they already had the calling on her, that she was going to be one evangelist. And
Mm.
I knew it. It wasn't, I saw it in her. So she went through that, journey by herself. But I just showed my support by being here with her.
Yeah.
So, mhm.
That's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And I gotta say, uh, Miss Renee, on behalf of the men, like and Terrence, I know you appreciate and you grateful, but it feels good when someone just recognizes us, just recognizes us, man. And I mean, Terrence, you know how it is. It's like
Yeah.
you're like, we out here, you do so much, and just I think a lot of just our day-to-day thinking to prepare
Mhm.
to take care of everything that we have to take care of to protect, to provide, it's like that just
Mhm.
and just to know that when people recognize it, we know we're not gonna get, the marching band and all that stuff, but just to recognize it and to be appreciated, it's like,
Exactly. I
you
make a
know,
joke. I was talking, we was at our mom's, we was talking. Well, and I tell couples this, majority of the time she's right. We talk about our communications and our thoughts patterns, and majority of the time she's right. 100% no. You are not, she would not be 100% right. I do have 3%.
yeah.
It's 97% she's right, but give me my 3%. Every now and then, I'm right.
uh,
So don't take that away
yeah.
from me.
I'm learning that now. I'm like, you know what? All right. I just say, okay, baby.
Right. Yes,
Because
dear. Yes, dear.
and I tell a lot of brothers, I'm like, look, man, you know, being in a nagging situation with somebody who don't who is trying to compete with you or don't care is one thing. But I said, when
Mhm.
somebody suggests something to you out of love, I said,
Mhm.
even if the tone may be a little, you still got to try to clear that tone out and hear what they saying.
Yeah.
Tiff is probably the first woman I've been involved with that's like she's protective of me.
Okay.
She's very protective of me, and it's
Okay.
like she don't want nobody taking advantage of me. She don't, and she told me in the beginning, you kind, and she was like, I just don't want nobody taking advantage of you, and she's the first person that like she'll really go there.
That's good.
And
That's good.
and so when she suggests things to me or she'll say something to me, I humbly listen. I humbly listen,
Yes. Because
But
you got the one.
yeah, yes.
You
And I'm
found
done.
the
I
one.
tell her all the time, you're burying me. I'm done. I'm not.
When
You're
you
burying me.
found the
I'm done.
one, when
Right.
you found the one,
Yeah,
it's
you are
done, some
it.
done
I'm
deal.
like, you are it. I had to go a long path to get to you. So it's like, you are it.
And
Yeah.
sometimes even
So,
when you don't know for sure
mm-hmm,
uh everything with the person, God will tell you that's the one. You know,
mm-hmm,
he'll tell you.
mm-hmm,
My mom
mm-hmm,
was so happy when she heard I was engaged, but since everything happened so fast, it threw off.
mm-hmm,
Like I say, we started dating like
February.
November,
Well, we started dating.
like November, December around that time, and then by February we made it official. Like, yeah, we'll do this thing, and then by
mm-hmm,
May, I proposed, and then by September
mm-hmm.
we got married. So, they,
Wow.
so when I
And
proposed, she was fine.
you just
Huh?
knew, huh?
I
You
just
just
knew,
knew, huh?
it wasn't so much that I just knew, but I
Mm-hmm.
trusted God, and
Yeah.
He put that in my heart, and I told my mom that I said, Mom, God told me this is what I need to do. It wasn't that I was like, Mama, I know, but I believe He was directing me this way, and I'm going with what I believe God was saying. And so
I
that's
know.
put it, because usually my mom would be right, and I let her go. But this time I was like, no, she ain't pregnant, ain't nothing going on, but this is what God wants me to do. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my mom, I think she probably think I'm crazy. But my mom writes in my birthday cards every year that she knows she's getting into heaven because she raised me right. She writes in my birthday card every year that, and she told me, she said, she said, this your third time, honey. And I said, third and last, ma'am, third
That's
and
Right,
right.
last.
right,
That's right.
right.
She said, I know. And she said, as a mother, she said, I feel different this time.
Yeah.
And for the first time, I'm 45. I've never seen my mother in makeup. She went out
Mm.
of town recently to one of her best friend's retirement, and she sent me. She had her friend do her makeup. I said, and I told Tiff, I said, babe, if I tell you this, you can't say nothing to my mother because my mother's one of them people. Once you get too excited, she kind of like, oh, whoa, 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 So I showed Tiff the picture, and it was like she's like, I said, listen, when I tell you the woman's never worn makeup, I'm talking about
Mm.
in the house growing up. There's never been no make. It's never been. I got to go to the store to get some makeup. It never.
Mhm.
Wow.
I'm like, and I said, so she's getting ready for this wedding. And then she sent me
Mm.
a picture the other day showing that she had lost a little weight and everything.
All
And
right
I said,
now.
now, I got to pull teeth to get this woman to take a picture. I had to literally tell her, Mom, when you pass away, I'm not gonna have no pictures to put on nothing because
Mm.
she don't take
Right.
pictures.
Mm.
And I said, now she's taking pictures. I'm like, she's getting ready for this wedding. I'm like, if
Yes.
you think she's getting ready, and so
You
she's
see how
excited.
God does things, and He's doing it
Yes,
through y'all's light. Light
yeah.
touches other people, and they start changing. Like they ain't never did this before. But all of a sudden, yeah.
Mm. And I really, really, really am grateful and appreciate you guys. And when I think about the name of your book, and when you guys were saying a few classes, like the reason why you named the book, and I said, man, I do feel like my heart like an open highway,
Mhm.
and and I definitely when I go into new things and learn things, I always open my mind up and I try to act, as if I never learned anything, because I want to take it all in as
Right.
pure as I need it, and
Yes.
it's helping me heal in a lot of more ways too,
Good.
because
Good.
a lot of the
Yeah.
things you guys have talked about in classes and just the chapters, and believe it or not, in my past relationship, I was always told I had a communication problem.
Not
But
you.
but in this relationship, we talk. We
Good.
talk,
Good.
and and I take ownership and accountability for me not speaking up for myself and taking up for myself and allowing myself to, happy wife, happy life, keep everything together, don't say nothing because
Right.
everything,
Right.
what she do,
Right.
So, then you look up and days are gone by, weeks are gone by, years are gone by, and it's like, so now with this, it's like it really is helping me heal things, and it's like it's just so breathtaking, and I'm so grateful to God that the things I've learned, it's like it helps me for my future, but it also clears the past for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
Yes.
and man, it's just like every class we have, it's just like, like, feel so much better, so much better. And it's like, and I can look over to happiness, with this woman
Yeah.
that I'm,
Yes. Yes.
going into the future with. So it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful
Yes.
thing. And I'm truly, truly grateful for you guys. And if you ever need me to do anything, speak, come down there to Tennessee, handle some people for you. I mean,
I got your name in my back pocket.
yes, yes. But in my last and final question, before I ask this question, is there anything you guys want to tell anyone or share, or
I
contact
would say,
information?
I would say travel.
Travel? Mm-mm.
Travel.
Okay.
Couples, couples, that's something that, people talk about, but something that I am realizing people do not do. They kind of like just stay in their cubby hole and
Yeah.
do their day to day. But traveling has been so important. I mean, at one point I was like, I need to do 4 vacations a year, at least four, at least four. So I'm slowly getting back up to it. But I mean, even if it's a joyride, if it's just
Mhm.
like us getting on the road and driving to Chicago, that used to not be a thing. It's becoming a thing now. I'm like, I need to fly, be there in 45 minutes.
Right, right, right. Yeah, no.
But the road trips are nice because it gives us time to talk. And I guess Jeannie and Ray Knuckles really inspired me on that because they drive everywhere. They drive
Hmm.
everywhere. And so again, just being able to, it's another way to spend time together and to create memories. Traveling
Yeah.
is about creating memories, something that you
Hmm.
could just be able to think about. And I mean, even when I had my stroke, I didn't know nothing,
Oh,
but I knew about my cruise.
right. We was going on a cruise. That's all she was. My trip, the trip. I mean, we had to literally fight her to stay in the bed. She got wires
Wow.
hanging everywhere, and that's all she would say. Trip, my trip. I was like, girl, you ain't going nowhere. The trip ain't till way later this year. But that was all in her head. That's it. It was like trip.
Wow.
It was crazy. No,
I,
but
I love cruising. I mean, some people don't like cruising. Some people like resorts. Resorts are okay, but I put me on a ship and I'm there.
Wow. And that's amazing you say that, because Tiff and I talk all the time. I never in 16 years of my past relationship, we never went anywhere.
Oh
We
my God.
never went
wow,
anywhere. Me and
wow.
Tiff, when we first started dating, we said we wanted to go to Jamaica.
Mm,
We said we wanted to go to New York, and we said we wanted to go to Las Vegas.
Okay.
My business, some guy reached out to me on social media. He said, I want you to come to this fashion show that I'm doing, bring your clothing or whatever. He was in New York. She was like, I'll go with you. I was like, oh, okay. Now we still knew, so I'm like, all right,
Mhm.
and went to New York, and then her cousin's friend said that, hey, well, I'm celebrating my birthday in Jamaica. You guys want to go to Jamaica? And so we had a running joke like, okay, we start paying for this trip for Jamaica, we're gonna agree, we're gonna go. Even if we're just
Mhm.
friends, even if we don't work out, we still gonna go. Like,
Yeah.
okay, so went to Jamaica. Then her cousin had a birthday. He said he wanted to go to Vegas. We went to Vegas. And we had forgot all of this until we looked back at the text messages when we first were dating. Was like, we said we wanted to go to Jamaica, New York, and Las Vegas. And
Mhm.
I told her, I said, man, I've traveled more with you in 3 years than I did. We didn't go anywhere in 16 years. And
Wow.
Wow.
yeah, so that and it is so much fun. We had so
Yeah.
much fun. So much
Yeah. I mean,
fun.
one time we was in our 30s, and I had just turned 30. And I was like, we're gonna do a 48-hour trip to Vegas.
I was like, what?
Okay.
And she was
That
like,
was the craziest trip that we have ever went on. We stayed up for 48 hours. We were so
we were
tired.
so drained. We was kicking it. We was going everywhere, eating and enjoying Vegas. And then, well, we didn't do the 48
Walking.
white walk-in.
Oh my
We did a
God. Doing the
48-hour
strip.
trip. Yeah. It wasn't, we didn't stay up 40 hours. We stayed up almost
But we
24.
stayed up. Yeah.
It was almost 24 hours. So by the next day,
We were so tired.
we were done. But we still got up. We laid down a little bit and got back up. And then we just kind
Yes.
of walked, did
Yes.
everything. And then
I
we was
left
on.
I
Wow.
left him because he was so tired. I left,
Wow.
went back out and just walked around.
And then we came back.
I love Vegas. I haven't been in some years, but I love Vegas.
Wow. All right, brother Terrance, you got anything you want to share?
Uh, just if you don't know Christ, get to know Christ. If you don't have him in your life, get to have him in your life. And when you say, yeah, I trust God, trust God.
Amen to
When you
that.
trust God, trust him. And he will work things
Amen.
out. He will open your eyes to things. He'll make you feel things, just by his touch. So I don't take no credit of my own. I give God all credit for everything. Yeah, he changed my life. Even, yeah, that's
Amen to
all.
that. Amen to that. And my final question is always, without causing any trauma or anything, like talk about anything, that's fine. But I always ask any guest that we have is like, what's a situation that you felt like you either fought for your life or you're fighting for your life?
My stroke,
Yeah.
it was something I never expected.
Mm.
I never thought that I would be in this place. And it has been the fight of my life.
Mm,
And I'm fighting every day to live. And I just lost one of my childhood friends, but even through her sickness, she was like, I'm still fighting. And I'm holding on to those words. Keep fighting, Renee. Keep fighting. And so it takes so much for me to do anything. I walk to the mailbox. I'm tired, you know. Um, so when we came home the weekend, I'm still recovering from that because I am tired. But but I'm in the fight for my life, recovering from this stroke. It's been a year, and boy, has it been a year. But God has been faithful.
That's right.
He has been faithful, and I'm getting stronger every day. And I just can't wait to see what next year is gonna look like because I want to be even better.
That's right. Claim it, baby. Uh-oh.
Where can we go? It didn't even still recording. Okay.
yeah. I don't know
I
what
thought you turned her
happened.
off. She was talking too long. You turned her off.
No, 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 no. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Okay, yeah, it's still recording.
Yeah,
But
Mhm.
we saw her recording. I was like, okay.
Okay. Yeah, but man, yeah, and I've experienced that, and I've helped people, who've come out of strokes and everything, young and old. So I know that had to be trying for you too, brother. I mean, man, we never want to see our loved ones hurt, and expected, and no matter what you prepare for, you never. It's like you're always blindsided. You're always
Mhm.
blindsided by what it is, and when things like that happen, somehow you still got to hold on to that. It's a higher purpose for
Yes,
greatness. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah. And I applaud you guys for fighting through that and still fighting through it. And,
mhm,
I applaud and salute you, man, for,
yes,
taking care of your queen.
yes, yes. He takes care of me.
Yeah.
I try my best.
Yeah. And I applaud and salute you because some people, when they go through that situation, they push people away,
Yes, they
you
do.
know, they, tell him to go and live life and all that, and it's like, but, so I'm definitely, grateful that you guys are still around and doing your thing. And we
Mhm.
appreciate you sharing what you share with the world. And I wish it nothing but the best. And again, don't forget, if you need backup down in Tennessee, I got some people down there, me and Tiff will get on the road and come down and see y'all.
Hey, that's all right. Come on.
I
Yeah.
got you. I got
Come
you.
on.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you so much for doing this for me. And
Hey, love you, man. Thank you for thinking
yeah,
of us.
yeah. Love you guys too. Thank you so much. And we will I guess see you in class on Saturday.
All right.
Yep. See you
All right.
Saturday.
All right, you
Take,
guys have a good
take
rest of the
All
care.
right.
evening. Take
God
care.
bless.
God bless.